Coach, you had a really good transfer group that came in. What was the key to getting some of these guys to come to IU and be excited about being a Hoosier? Talking about Myles Rice, Oumar Ballo, Kanaan Carlyle.
Well, the portal forces your hand. You know, when you have 3 players that leave your team to the portal, and then I had 2 seniors that graduated, and then where the big fella got drafted by the Heat, I held a scholarship back, so we had 7 spots to fill. And you know, once the season was over and the portal opened up, you know, I kind of treated it like I was when I coached in the NBA when you're getting ready for the draft. You know, you find the best players in each position, and you have meetings amongst your staff, and you watch film to see who likes what player. And Myles and Kanaan Carlyle, and not knowing that Ballo was even going to come in, he wasn't even on the radar at the beginning. But those 2 particular guys were, you know, they sat at the top in terms of us going out and trying to make them a part of our ball club. And the fact that we had a relationship, you know, through one of my coaches, those 2 guys played high school ball and AAU ball against each other there in Atlanta, Georgia. There was a relationship, so we started working the relationship and was able to get them both to agree to play with one another and get them on campus. And once they got to campus, you know, we were able to get them to commit, and now they're part of Hoosier Nation.
Well, I was there earlier this week, and the guys seemed really energetic. Is there anything special that you've done to share with them the history and the culture that's in the Indiana basketball and what it means to that state? Do they kind of understand that?
It's all new, you know, to those guys. But the banners and the things that hang amongst our arena tells it all in terms of what's expected, you know. The one thing I did tell these guys when I was recruiting them, that expectations are high, and it should be that way. I don't care where you play. You know, expectations should always be high for your ball club, and there's no difference at Indiana. Indiana, you know, they expect you to win. So they know that coming in. They elected to give us an opportunity to coach them. You know, Ballo was just the luck of the draw, man. I mean, nobody knew he was going in, and during the Final Four when I was out there, he still hadn't committed to go into the portal. And then he came in, and then everybody jumped on him right away, and I just asked him to give us a shot, you know, by coming to Bloomington and see if it was something that he would be willing. I think a lot had to do with Trace Jackson Davis and Ware, you know, and Ware hadn't even been drafted yet. But the fact that he had a hell of a year for us based on his tenure at Oregon and how he played his freshman year, he made a major jump for our ball club. So I think he looked at that as well in his deciding factor, you know, to come to Indiana.
You know, we've grown accustomed to seeing you play 2 bigs at once, and I don't think that's going to change. But you stated that you may want to play a little bit faster. Why is that?
Because I have the personnel now. You know, everybody had this myth that, you know, Coach Woodson don't like shooting threes. That's not true. You know, my days in New York, if you go back and you do your homework on it, we led the league in threes taken and threes made. And we were 3rd in field goals. We were shooting 33s a night in the NBA, which was unheard of. And then Curry and Harden, they changed the whole dynamics of what you see now in the NBA. You know, everybody's shooting 40 to 45 threes a night in the NBA. But if you don't have guys that can make the long ball, to me it's just a waste of time. It's a turnover, you know, a wasted possession. because somebody wants you to jack up threes when you just don't have the personnel to make them. And I think this year we do now. You know, McKenzie and Goody and the two young kids coming in. I mean, everybody's going to have an opportunity. And from summer play to now, you know, we are taking a lot more threes, you know, and our bigs are kind of been on hold a little bit, you know, but we'll utilize them too. It'd be foolish not to. But I think if you can have both, it's a nice combination, I think.
With the class that you brought in, the transfer group and the freshmen, and the way that college basketball is now, it seems to be a little bit more like the NBA. How do you get these guys on the same page so quickly now? What are some of the things that you do?
Well, that's going to be the challenge. You know, I think when we brought everybody in and got them together this summer, our bonding program, so to speak, was off the charts. You know, it's the first time since I've been at Indiana where our guys really hung together and did a lot. I mean, they fished, they bowled, we had picnics. They did a lot of things together, and that's a start when you're talking about building a team, especially when you bring in 7 new faces. So that part went extremely well, and then summer play went well. You know, our offense was so ahead of the defense because I didn't give them much from a defensive standpoint. And now our defense is probably now a little bit ahead of the offense. It's a struggle to score, which is a good thing. You know, they just got to figure it out. And practices have been very competitive. You were there the other day. It's very competitive. You know, nobody wants to lose, and everybody wants to play minutes. So they're fighting to show Coach, hey, I deserve to play, which is a good thing, I think.
When you're looking at 4 new teams coming into the conference and you're trying to scout them and whatnot, can you give us a sense of the preparation or the way that you try to dissect these new teams that'll be coming into the conference?
Well, again, it's all new, you know, with UCLA and USC. All those teams, Oregon, Washington, they're all well coached, man, and they bring a whole different style of play coming from the West Coast. You know, we kind of a grind it out, beat each other type, you know, conference. It's always been that way. And they bring more of a freelance and up and down, so to speak, style. So, you know, you're going to have to adjust to that as they will have to adjust to our style and how, you know, we play here in the Big Ten. But at the end of the day, you got great coaches and you got stiff competition. And what more could you ask for? I mean, when you bring teams over, it's about competition, man. You know, you better the league in terms of the players that are coming in, and there's no cakewalk, no picnics. You know, you're gonna have to come and play each and every night that you put that uniform on.
And speaking of competition, a couple of your players are really good on the golf course.
Nah, man, they awful. They talk a good game.
They're not that good?
Man.
I mean, I wanted to see if you were going to give them an opportunity to play against you on the golf course, or do you just not do that?
I'll just play a pitch, a wedge, and a putter with those guys, you know.